Hi there, and thanks for tuning in again. It is 2026. I can't believe how time just flies. I hope everybody is doing well. I know there's still like a lot going on in the world, and for a lot of people, it can be really destabilizing. And so, one of the things I wanted to kind of refresh on is this idea that our body was created to self heal emotionally and physically. And our emotions are related to our biology, and our thoughts are related to our biology. So we've gone over quite a bit of that. But I was thinking about the concept of rest. So there's a system of rest in our body that is regulated by the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve runs alongside, it's the 10th cranial nerve. It runs down alongside our neck, and it goes down and it innervates all of our organs. So your heart, your lungs, your stomach. So everything related all the way down to your pelvic area is going to be regulated by this nerve. And the interesting thing we've been able to discover is that this nerve is highly affected by our thoughts and our emotions. And on top of that, if our thoughts or emotions are disconnected, in other words, our thought doesn't match how we feel, we can actually get ourselves into an unrested state, even if we're sitting down and being calm and all those things. Our body can be in what we've talked about before, fight or flight. And there's another one called freeze, where you're just so overwhelmed that your body just can't respond to anything, like a deer in the headlights. We have lots of deer here on Whidbey Island, and I've seen it before. They just stop and they look like, I don't know what to do. Anyway, our nervous system can get stuck in that state, and whenever we're in fight, flight, or freeze, we can't heal because our organs are not feeling the safety that they need to operate in the way that they were designed. And so when we get into scrolling through social media, what this can do is actually give us so much information at once. I mean, we live in a world where like there's news and information and talking and lights and sounds, and everything is just overwhelming to the nervous system. We were not designed to handle so much at once in our senses. And we're picking up on things that are invisible too, like the artificial light around us, the Wi-Fi router. Have you ever heard it? Do you remember when, if you're old enough, when we had Ethernet cables that we connected our computers into the internet instead of wireless? And when you were going to dial up, it would make that sound, all that. Well, that's still happening, and your nervous system can hear it. It's just that we can't physically hear it with our ears, so we think there isn't any noise anymore. So our nervous system is very fine-tuned to frequency, to sound, to light, all of the frequencies that we know of in nature. So our nervous system is also going to be tuned into the ones that are artificial. So one of the things we've learned is that LED lights, the way that they function, how the reason they're so efficient is that they have a chip in them, like a computer chip. So they're always going dee, 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 dee. Your eyes can't see it, but your nervous system picks up on it. Have you ever walked into a store or a public building and you were feeling fine, and then you go in there and you don't know why, but you're just feeling nervous or anxious or just emotionally off? It could be because those artificial light frequencies or the artificial sound frequencies are just irritating, stressing your nervous system. So, all that to say, we've mentioned this before on how we need natural light. That's the fix, that's the cure. And we can actually also um, use indoor lighting that is more natural to us. Sometimes it's hard to find these like incandescent bulbs, which is probably the closest to sunlight. It's hard to find them, but you can get like 40 watts for ovens. So I've ordered a bunch of those, and that way they're lower than what we're used to. Like usually you use 60 watts, but at least it's something, and it's more like sunlight because there's really little fire in there. There's a little bit of fire, which the sun is basically fire. And so our physiology, our nervous system can accept that as more natural. It feels more natural to our nervous system. But when we're indoors and we've got this noise going on that our ears can't hear, but our nervous system is picking up on, that's cumulative. Have you ever been like, oh, let's say a preschool, 30 kids, and they're all chattering and moving about, and there's just all kinds of noise. It's exhausting, right? After, I don't know how preschool teachers do it. I mean, I volunteered a little bit for a while, and that was about as much as I could handle. It's just overstimulation, okay? So we can get overstimulated. That puts us in fight or flight or freeze. And what happens with freeze is that when we have all this activity, we are not in a rest and digest state. So we start pumping up our adrenals like cortisol and adrenaline in order to function because we're not actually making pure, calm energy. And so this makes it so that our body needs more fuel, glucose, sugar. This is why a lot of people are addicted to sugar. And we're just going all the time. And we aren't able to find that internal calm that brings us into a place where our body can adjust and heal. So, since we know we live in a day and age where we're constantly bombarded with all kinds of sensory information, we have to be thinking more intentionally about entering into rest. And this just doesn't mean sleep, because you can sleep and feel like you really got a good night's sleep and never really enter into a place where your body is producing the right hormones to like wash the brain. There's a process while we sleep that basically our brain, it's glyc I can't remember the word. You don't care. It's just basically where the brain gets cleaned out. And this usually happens between 2 and 4 a.m. And I notice a lot of my clients and people that I talk to complain about waking up at 2 in the morning or 4 in the morning and not being able to get back to sleep. What that tells me is they've been so overstimulated during the day that their body can't rest well enough to start the process of just washing all the toxins out of the brain. So then the stuff that our body could normally handle starts to accumulate. So, like, our body was made so perfectly resilient. Like, we're able to take in toxins and then get rid of them. But if we never enter into that truly rested state because we're constantly overstimulated, then that those processes never happen. And so we have to learn how to be aware of when we need to disconnect. And this the when I was growing up, I lived in a village and we didn't even have phones. And we had one phone in the whole village, and it was in a little hut, and you had to make an appointment for that 1 hour a week you could go use the phone. So you rarely ever did. Now, to be fair, we had CB radios, so there was something important going on, you'd broadcast over that. But I'm saying this because we lived without a phone, but these days people can't live without their phone. They're like totally addicted to it. You've seen it. You've been out to dinner with people and they're like, and they're scrolling on their phone while you're talking. And you're like, hello, I'm not really, I'm here. And we've all done it where it's like, we realize I feel like looking at my phone and I don't even know why. And so, one of the things that we can do is just start being aware of how much we're using technology and take time to disconnect from it. Just unplug. Go outside, leave your phone at home and enter into that rested state. I actually wanted to share too a couple of scriptures. I had excuse me, I was looking at one that was just about this concept of rest. You know how the Hebrews wandered around in the desert, and God said, "Because you wandered around because you didn't trust me." And I think really that concept is trust and rest are related. They're really the same. Um, and in Matthew 23:37, it Jesus talked about how, hold on, I'm just going to pick this one out of this passage in Matthew 23, verse 37. Just this one thing I want to pick out. Um, Many times I have longed to gather a wayward people as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were too stubborn to let me. So I wanted to look up what is the thing about the hens and the chick and having the chicks under their wings. And the obvious is like, okay, for warmth or protection, right? So I looked at birdful.org, and in summary, a mother bird covering her chicks or eggs with her wings serves multiple crucial functions: the warmth, protection, security, and bonding provided by this natural behavior is vital for the chick's survival and proper growth. Anyway, I just thought, wow, it's the bonding. It's not just, hey, I want to take care of you. It's like I want to be connected to you. And so I think that when we're so connected to technology, we're not as connected to our creator. We're not in the moment. We're not experiencing life connected to nature and our creator in a way where we can just really enjoy it. I mean, most of us go around not even aware of what that is going on. And so I just wanted to share that with you today, and I really thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Take care.